And for more background on the legal ramifications of the Supreme Court's decision, we're joined now by attorney Rachel Fiset. Welcome. What exactly will the lower courts have to decide in regards to how former President Trump is prosecuted in this case, or whether he is at all, and whether he has immunity?
Based on this decision, everything the lower court now has to decide is whether he was acting in his official capacity, performing official acts. And if they decide that Trump was acting to perform official acts, he is immune from prosecution. So this will come up in all of the cases that are pending against the former president now. And an official act he is immune from. Calling Vice President Pence to forge electors. That's going to be a major question as to whether that call was an official act.
Yeah, this was a huge case. It's a case that, the justices have never had to rule on before, something like this. How will this delay Trump's court case, and will it make any of his potential charges go away?
I think it has the potential to make some of the charges go away based on obstructing a formal or official proceeding. Can he even be charged with that? Because that would be an official act potentially. So and there are those charges levied against him in the January 6th case. As far as delay, absolutely. This is a giant win for former President Trump, because this will delay everything past November. And that's really what the big takeaway from this case is, in many ways, is if he is elected president, there's just simply going to be no case against him.
All right, I was going to ask, can you just make this go away if he is elected president again? Speaking of delays, what do you make of the Supreme Court taking this up on the very, 11th hour, very last day of decision making, and then just basically casting it back down to the lower court?
It's a lot of delay, and I think that appears to be potentially strategic. It came out on the last possible day it could come out, and the ruling in and of itself calls for a remand, for multiple things to be decided again at the lower court, and there is just simply no way to get that done before the election. So that, again, the court appears to be helping kick the can and delay the cases against him.
Yeah, and the fact that this is a conservative-led court, do you think this is part of the reason why this ruling was thrown down to the lower courts?
I do. I mean, it falls exactly on party lines. That is not unexpected based on multiple rulings that have come from this court throughout this term. And I think the court did enough to protect their sanctity of being somewhat objective by kicking it down to the lower court for multiple other decisions. So the court here isn't making the decision that he's completely immune. They're saying, okay, if you find there are official acts involved here, he is now immune from those.
So that's a big differentiating point. One of the main points is the public, his acts and capacity as president in his official capacity versus his private criminal conduct or alleged criminal conduct. So what are some examples of private criminal conduct that he might still be prosecuted for down the road?
So those could be communications that he didn't have to have. So it would be communications that would not be in the purview of his role. For instance, the classified documents case, that's mostly after he was president. That case will largely stand. But as far as January 6th, that is tricky. What they decide is official that he had to do on that day will be immune. If he was having off the cuff communications, say with leaders of groups that were there seeking to obstruct the election, that could be decided as private conduct, and he could still be prosecuted for that.
So that could be the key for prosecution, right? Is making this conduct private.
That's correct. So the Proud Boys, for instance. I think it's hard to argue that any communications with any leaders of the Proud Boys or anything resulting in the Proud Boys acting in the way they did through a communication line, I think it's very hard to argue that that would be an official act.
Okay, Rachel Fiset, thank you. Big decision today. We appreciate your time.
Thanks so much for having me.